Before we get started, consider supporting Destination Declassified by checking out our online store and purchasing an I Believe Alien beanie or one of our awesome alien posters. Everything we make from that store goes directly to the maintenance of this channel and our search for the truth. Thank you for supporting Destination Declassified, and let's get into this guide of what to do if you spot a UFO. Imagine, if you will, you step outside your house on a perfectly ordinary day, but after you close the door behind you, something in the sky catches your attention. You have never seen anything like it before. It doesn't look or behave like any aircraft you have ever seen. And the more you watch it, the more you start to realize that you are observing a genuine, unidentified flying object. So what should you do now? Firstly, let us take a moment to remind ourselves that just because we may not immediately be able to identify an object or a phenomenon that we are observing does not mean that it is wholly unexplainable. The scientific community continue to discover unusual atmospheric phenomena affecting our planet, which is often exacerbated by climate change and pollution, while in the 21st century, the aviation industry is producing a number of remarkable and quite amazing aircraft. Both of these facts can sometimes account for UFO sightings, so reporting a UFO can result in a witness getting an earthly answer for what they saw, as disappointing as that might be to some. However, if your sighting is genuinely mysterious, then it is especially important to the wider UFO investigative community as part of the ongoing study into sightings and what or even who may be behind them. There are a few simple steps you can take when witnessing a UFO that will allow you to put together a detailed report, which you can then submit to organisations such as MUFON, the Mutual UFO Network, and of course, Destination Declassified. So let's go through them. Number 1. Dismissing the obvious. Your first course of action will be to make sure you are not seeing some kind of aircraft or balloon, and you don't have to be a plane spotter to do this. Conventional aircraft will generally fly in straight lines, except when making wide turns. Some of the most compelling UFO sightings involved objects that make very sudden turns, which are something not even high-performance military aircraft can achieve. Aircraft lighting have often been mistaken for UFOs. International law requires aircraft to have warning lights on the wingtips and on the tail to alert other aircraft of their presence. At night, these lights can look quite mysterious from the ground, but as long as you remember that the wingtip lights strobe red and green, then you will be able to determine what is an aircraft and what is something else. Helicopters too will have strobing red and green lights on their fuselage, so in this case they will appear closer together than on a fixed wing aircraft such as an airliner. Be aware of the growing hobby of flying drones. These little remote controlled aircraft often don't look like planes or helicopters, don't often have any lights, and can do tricks in the sky other aircraft can't. As well as your eyes, use your ears to listen out for engine noise, which may give away that it is a powered aircraft. Balloons can be a little more difficult to identify, but again, there are a few things to look for. Small balloons, such as the helium ones brought in a shop, can appear much bigger in the sky, with nothing to compare them to for reference. In this instance, watch how the object moves. If it appears to bob around on the wind, like a cork in water, then it's probably a balloon. Larger balloons and airships will often have pictures and markings on them to aid in identification. If you are still unsure about what you are seeing, don't be afraid to report it. Even the most experienced observers and pilots have made UFO reports when sighting an unfamiliar aircraft. Number 2. Filming or photographing your UFO. In the 21st century, we nearly all have access to a high-definition camera, thanks to them being fitted to our phones. This will allow you to record the object you are seeing and allow investigators to essentially witness the sightings themselves. However, when filming UFOs, some people make mistakes which inhibit the video's usefulness. So here is a quick guide on how to best video a UFO. Firstly, while you may be tempted to just zoom your camera in on the object as close as possible, this may not always be the best way to observe it. Firstly, the camera's own zoom and focus features may distort the image in some way, which is especially the case when recording the flying orb phenomena. since the camera is trying to focus on a light source rather than a detectable solid object. Even if you don't get a clear view of what you are seeing, zooming back at least once during the sighting is also important, as this will provide your video or photograph with details of your surroundings, which may be important to the later investigation. It can also help with estimates of size, speed, and height of the object, since landmarks can be used for comparison. If you are not quick enough to capture the object, then take a picture of the scene, and if your phone allows you to do so, draw a line showing the path the object took across the sky. Number 3. Details to make note of. Even if you are filming the sighting, the video may not be able to tell investigators everything. This is where your own senses come into play. Some researchers believe UFOs are linked to psychic phenomena. So ask yourself, did you feel threatened or even reassured by the object? How did you feel during the sighting? Did your ears feel affected by a change in air pressure? Did you suddenly feel hot or cold? During the course of the sighting, how did the object appear to react with your surroundings? Did it cast light or a shadow onto the ground? Were animals aware of the object's presence? For example, were dogs barking at it? Was it this that alerted you to it? There was also the time between you first sighting the object and the start of you filming it. Did anything different happen then compared to what you recorded? Try not to have an answer for everything, as sometimes your mind can create false memories when trying to recall events later. Only answer these questions if you become aware of any of the details during the sighting itself. If you are videoing the object, don't be afraid to narrate your video with any details you are noticing whilst doing so, as this can help you remember and could prove invaluable later. Number 4. After the sighting is over, it's important to make some additional quick notes, which, as well as what we have already discussed, include more basic details, such as the time the sighting began, the time the sighting ended, and your location. If there is more than one of you who witnessed the sighting, then individually make timelines of what happened and descriptions of the object, but try not to discuss it first, as this can sometimes affect how people remember what happened. When you compare your timelines and descriptions later, don't add anything that someone else has on theirs, that you do not on yours. This could demonstrate how the object has affected you personally and could be important in the investigation later. MUFON have a report form you can fill in on their website, which you can submit for investigation. It can look a little daunting, but don't worry. You are not expected to tick every box and write an essay for every answer. You can find a link in the description below to go straight to their report form. Alternatively, you can submit your own report through our report form on our website, and also submit pictures or videos to Destination Declassified. Number 5. Stay safe. This is the most important part of what to do when you spot a UFO, and it has nothing to do with getting abducted and probed. Sighting a potential UFO can sometimes be an exciting experience, and you can very easily become fixated by what you are seeing, but it's important to be aware of your surroundings and any earthly dangers that could affect you. If you are standing beside a road when viewing an object, for example, then make sure to check that you haven't absent-mindedly stepped into the road while trying to get a better view. At the same time, it may be a good idea to check anyone with you hasn't either. If the object appears to be moving away from you, then it may not be the best idea to go chasing after it, especially in rural areas. You may think it's safe to run across an open field while filming the object, but you could easily fall on uneven ground or into a bog. Even usually benign cattle can pose a threat if something spooks them and they stampede you. And last but not least, don't ever get your phone out if you are driving. Pull over first, or if you have someone with you, get them to take pictures or videos for you. Be smart, stay safe, and of course, take a moment every now and again to watch those skies. You never know what you might see.